Breaking Bad is one of the best TV series ever made. It has been 10 years since the final of the series, but it is still at the top of discussions among film and series enthusiasts, and it is well deserved. Each episode is highly rated and everyone has their favorite, but one episode stands out very much. Thanks episode of third season, Fly. This episode is the lowest rated and least favorite among many viewers, but at the same time, many people consider it as the best and deepest episode of the whole series. Today, we will explore what this episode is about, its hidden details and the brilliance behind it. This episode is about a fly. Insect flies into the lab and is spotted by Walter. The entire episode he is obsessed with catching the fly, as he says it could contaminate the final product, and that is unacceptable. The entire episode takes place in the lab, where Walter and Jesse catch the pesky insect and eventually kill it. This doesn't move the main plot along in any way. Only two characters are involved, Walt and Jesse, and it's no wonder that many people were left unsatisfied with the fact that towards the end of the season, when passions are running high, you have to witness Walter's struggle with a mere fly. However, it's not as simple as it seems. It's no secret that this episode is filler or battle episode. When authors don't fit in their budget, they are forced to shoot battle episode. They film an episode with minimal expenses, leaving more resources for upcoming episodes. However, a battle episode can be approached differently. It can be done lazily. If such episode remain in the memory, then only as a terrible dream. But in Breaking Bad series, Fly is one of the most iconic episodes, and here's why. The goal was to save money, so why not film the entire episode in one location and focus not on developing the main plot, but on the interaction between characters, on their emotion and feelings. For example, Walter takes catching a fly seriously. He is calculating and he is even a little bit paranoid. He is fixated on catching the fly, because everything has to be perfect. He can't stand any deviation from his rules, and by the third season he's used to the fact that everything has to be the way he wants it. So he must catch the fly. This fixation on the fly could be seen as a manifestation of his obsessive-compulsive disorder, or maybe it's just a metaphor and commentary on the fact that even someone as intelligent as Walter can be thrown off by a trivial fly, something he's powerless against. So the fly highlights the characters' personalities even more. Jesse, for example, doesn't get it. What the big deal is, he takes life easier, at least at this point. He's not a scientist and wants to finish the job quickly and be done with it. However, the fly reveals another problem in Walter and Jesse's relationship, Jesse's submission. Earlier, they agreed to be 50-50 partners, but we all understand that it's another one of Walter's manipulative tactics. In the end, he's the one making decisions, even about the fly. Walter approaches the fly's capture rationally, trying to use his intellectual tricks. On the other hand, Jesse simply sets up a ladder and kills the fly, without thinking about the options. Usually it would seem that Walter always has a plan, and could have handled it without Jesse. However, the ordinary fly proves otherwise, and shows that Jesse is the one who can handle this small detail, while Walter is powerless and it could have ruined the whole cooking session. What about the fly itself? Some say it symbolizes Walter's conscience, his guilt and shame. Some say it's an obsession with perfection. Some say it's just a fly. Very unexpected. And indeed, it is in pursuit of this fly that Walter's conscience breaks. He delivers a heartfelt monologue about how he would rather have died sitting in front of the TV shortly before he went to Jesse's home, which partly led to the death of Jane.
I know the moment. It was the night Jane died. I was at home watching TV. Some nature program about elephants. Skylar and Holly were in another room. She was singing a lullaby.
At the time, Walter had already earned a good amount of money, seeing his newborn daughter and listened to his wife singing a lullaby to her. In his opinion, in this scenario, people would have missed him after his death. However, how did it turn out in the end?
Last episode of Breaking Bad. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1.
Walter dies surrounded by his other family and love, surrounded by lab equipment, and the episode ends with the fly. Walter lies in his bed, unable to sleep, looking at the fly that he seemingly killed in the lab, or maybe it's another fly haunting him like his conscience. Like every person lying in the bed before sleep, Walter is haunted by memories, but in his case they are mostly sad and full of regrets. However, the fly also serves as a representation that Walter's vanity and ego can be disturbed by such a trivial thing, and he cannot be all-powerful and omnipotent. The fly triggers his monologue, and even in that, Walter reminiscing about his family, pondering that he wants them to be miss him after his death. It makes his ego feel good, knowing that they will suffer, but most importantly, they will remember him, miss him, and admire him. In contrast, Jesse in this episode is more calm. He accepts that Jane's death is not his fault, and he cleanses himself while Walter can't cleanse his sins, and when he remembers them, he can't let go.
I'm very sorry.
It's not your fault. It's not mine either. It's no one's fault. Not even hers.
For Jesse, fly is just another whimsical issue for him from his partner. Specifically, getting rid of the fly is like removing an obstacle for the business. But this fly is a problem only for Walter, and maybe he is not even right about it. Practically, all people will eventually turn into flies for Walter, flies which hinder his business and hit his ego, so he will try to get rid of them and ruin their lives and his own life as well.
Todd, I think I might have another job for your uncle.
Even Jesse will become a fly, Walter's conscience, which he tries to kill in the second half of the 5th season, the fly that opened his eyes to all his wrongdoings, and later when his patience snapped, attempted to hinder him and his business by helping Hank put Walter in prison. And Walter decided to get rid of Jesse, and his conscience tormented him, but it had less and less effect on him, and in time Walter himself turned into a fly, a little man who brings great trouble to those around him, sometimes without realizing it. That's how a fly is a conscience, a shame, an ego, and a reminder that there are no all-powerful people, and also Fly is the title of a very underrated episode of Breaking Bad. And maybe this episode doesn't really move the plot, as we are usually used to, but it does another important thing. It immerses us into the characters. They are now more than friends, and their every action, joy or sadness, will reflect on us, the viewers, even more. This episode prepares the ground for the fact that after every important event in Breaking Bad you will remember these moments as if they were your own. All thanks to the fact that the context of this episode is just as amazing as the other episodes. An episode about the pursuit of perfection and how the pursuit can lead to the destructive obsession. The episode Fly is a reflection on the dangers of the pursuit of the perfection. In this episode, Walter becomes so fixated on catching a fly that he neglects the bigger picture. In the process, he risks destroying the lab and himself. This is a metaphor for his greater obsession with control and perfection. The episode shows that this obsession can lead to a lack of perspective and finally, downfall. Thanks for watching. Be sure to write down your thoughts on the show and on this episode as well. Perhaps you have your own interpretation of what's going on. Press like button and subscribe to watch my next videos.